Beer me, Blazer.
But, yeah, let's go into the quarterbacks first. We got Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. It's kind of crazy that this guy is become the starter now.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he came out, we said if you wanted to grab him, maybe it was a speculative ad. But, I mean, in all honesty, we were saying, too, if you're one of the, 6 to 8 teams in your playoffs, you probably had a better quarterback option. So you're not really going out there to start Jalen Hurts, especially in a tough matchup against the New Orleans Saints, who had been – that defense was –
Hansel is so hot right now.
Defense was hot like Hansel. I mean, they've just been shutting everybody out. But, I mean, Jalen Hurts came out and put up a monster game for fantasy. Well, I guess not a monster game, but a solid game for, a rookie in his first NFL start against one of the better defenses in the NFL. It gets you 19 points, 167 passing yards, gets you a touchdown. But where he really thrived is 18 carries for 106 rushing yards. I mean, I think I said it back when they drafted him. And even a couple times, during the draft process. I do like Jalen Hurts a lot. He's a poor man's Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's a running back just like Lamar Jackson who plays quarterback, but who you can argue that he's a better and more efficient passer than what Lamar Jackson is or was. So, yeah, I do like Jalen Hurts, especially going forward. I think we might have seen the last of Carson Wentz, honestly. It's a tricky situation there with the cap and how much they owe him, and if they can't cut him because they just have like $40 million in dead money or something stupid like that. So maybe they try to trade him. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts, I think he's the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. And this week he plays against the Arizona Cardinals, and then week 16 at the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, how do you feel about Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I like it too. It sucks seeing Carson Wentz, kind of almost like lose that position, but I think it could be like one of these Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles thing. You know what I mean? But I think you're right though. Jalen Hurts has a lot of talent. But yeah, this week if you're really in need of a streaming quarterback, I mean, I'm in one of my leagues. I've been streaming quarterbacks. Like I played Kirk Cousins this past week, so this Jalen Hurts is definitely like a possibility of someone that I would possibly stream this week coming up. But yeah, so I'm not mad at it. It's a little sneaky. Play late in the fantasy football season. I mean, not mad at it at all.
Yeah, one thing I heard, I mean, don't quote me on this exactly, but I thought I heard something. They were saying like Carson Wentz has been sacked 10 times more than anyone else, or like he's been sacked a ton.
Yeah.
I think Carson Wentz is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL right now. Jalen Hurts got sacked 0 times against the Saints defense, which has been balling for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Well, yeah,
so I mean,
if you can run out of the pocket, like, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I mean, Jalen Hurts, I think he's good. I think if you're in a dynasty league and you have Jalen Hurts, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely.
I know we're going to be starting a dynasty draft next year. He's definitely going to be a guy who I'll be targeting to try to get, because I think going forward, I mean, like I said, he's poor man's Lamar Jackson.
Well, it's almost like you're saying, more accurate. It's almost more than that. Yeah. Almost like a rich man's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
possibly
could be.
That rushing upside is always great too. All right, let's move on to the next one here. We got Jared Goff. I'm surprised that Jared Goff is as available as he is. It didn't seem like he would be. Before pre-podcast.
Yeah, he's like 40% available, give or take. I mean, he's had a couple up and down games. He's been, bipolar, I guess you could say it. I mean, he's got, I feel like half of his games are either 20 or more points. I mean, and then the other half are just not very good at all. I mean, 15 points last week against the Patriots. They shellacked the Patriots. They were just running down their throats. Then he gets you 24 against the Cardinals. That's a good game. Then he gets you 3 against the 49ers. Then he gets you 23 against the Bucks, and then 10 against the Seahawks. So he's just been up and down, up and down, up and down. But one thing with him is the passing yardage is pretty much there majority of the time. I mean, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 300 or more passing yard games. This week he's at home against the New York Jets. They've had extra time to prepare. I mean, the New York Jets are tanking for Trevor. I mean, I think they've pretty much gotten rid of all of their starting cornerbacks from the starting season to now. They have none of the same defensive or cornerbacks that they had to start the regular season.
We got their linebacker.
Yeah. They're in full tank for Trevor mode. I mean, it could be another scenario where you run on them and maybe it doesn't have the high ceiling. But one thing I can say about the Jets, and I think you've probably brought this up a couple times too, is if there's one thing that the Jets are good at, I feel like it's their run defense that's okay. You know, it's not great. It's not terrible. It's okay. But, I mean, their passing defense is just terrible. So, yeah, if you need a streaming option this week, I'm in a league where I have a couple quarterbacks. I've just been streaming them. Last week I streamed Trubisky. We'll talk on him in a second. That worked out pretty good. But this week I think I'm going to go with Jared Goff as my streaming option to help me get into the championship.
Nice. I like it. I'm not a big fan of Jared Goff, but, you know, in this type of situation, I'm not mad at it. By the way, Jets, though, you know who the Jets play week 17? I'm pretty sure week 17.
Who?
The Patriots.
Nice.
Bill Belichick. They're talking about conspiracy theories. They're saying Bill Belichick might if they lose this week, he might just keep starting Jeff Stidham, so that way they lose to the Jets, and then that way Trevor Lawrence doesn't go to the AFC East. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. As a Dolphins fan, I don't want to see Trevor Lawrence there with the Jets, with the Jets. But I mean, even then, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter
Trevor
how
Lawrence
good he is.
Justin Fields, yes, Trevor Lawrence is, I would say, better, but you know, it's not like Justin Fields is this terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
it's not like it's just Trevor Lawrence only. You know.
Yeah.
1 to
even
2.
if they get Trevor Lawrence, the Jets, at the end of the day, it still comes down to the organization. It comes down to the coaching.
Yeah.
It comes down to the players that you surround the quarterback with. You know, and it just doesn't mean anything. Just kind of, you know, off the top of the head, I'm gonna brag on Tua right here. I know we lost a tight game against the Chiefs this week, but I saw a comparison, and they were saying, you know, because you know we were getting blown out, but just to see the Dolphins and Tua kind of battle back and make it competitive towards the end, you know, to a point where the Chiefs needed to score at the very end, that field goal to kind of seal it. Just to see Tua kind of, you know, put up some points against the Chiefs with a cast of nobodies. Because, I mean, Devontae Parker was hurt. I mean, Gesicki was balling, but then he got hurt. And we just have nobody. We're down to like our fourth-string running back. To see him go out there and be as efficient as he was, Tua threw for like over 300 yards. I think he had 2 passing touchdowns, ran a touchdown. It's nice to see that. But then you get – someone just basically said, imagine if Tua had Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, and Austin Eckler. Like, how good could Tua be?
Yeah.
You know, obviously Herbert's balling, but, I mean, he's surrounded by a ton of weapons, you know. And they were saying if Herbert had this cast that Tua had, would he still be doing what he's doing? Probably not.
Right.
So that's a totally side different thing. But like, the whole point I'm trying to make is it doesn't matter how good Trevor Lawrence is if you don't put weapons around him and the coaching isn't right, it's not going to be successful.
There's rumors saying that I think it's true. Adam Gase is in on the fix for the Jets.
Could be. He could be telling them.
They're firing everyone. They're not afraid to fire coaches. They fired Greg Williams.
Yeah, I mean, he could have.
You know what I mean?
Maybe he's just a good talker. Maybe he's a good manipulator. He's telling them, "Hey, like, just give me Trevor Lawrence, and this will work. And I promise, give me Trevor Lawrence, and we'll turn it around." So maybe the guys are like, "Okay."
He didn't like it was Jamal Adams was there.
Yeah,
he didn't really like him. They got into it. Didn't like Le'Veon Bell. Didn't like Greg Williams. All these guys are gone.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, that'd be crazy. The AFC East is Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, and then the Patriots have who?
Yeah,
Cam Newton, you know, old. Anyways, let's go on to the next one here. We got Mitch Trubisky did great against the Texans this past week. The first half was a lot better than the second half for the Bears. I love those Bears helmets, by the way. The ones that look like Michigan, the whatever they have, like, I think that's might be their color rush jersey or not. It's not their color rush jersey, but you know what I'm talking about. They have the Bears, like those lines in their helmets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think those are sick, but that's probably why they won. But Mitch Trubisky did great for fantasy owners. Hopefully you streamed him last week. That was your start or somebody's?
He was my start 2 weeks ago against the Lions, which
it's the same game almost.
Historically, would always throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns pretty much against them. He didn't put up a good game, but then I was telling you, I was like, hey, I'm going to dial him up again this week because I feel like the matchup was just good against Houston. I mean, you could run on Houston, so I feel like when you can run on a team, it really opens up the play action because if you're just gashing teams with the run, if you do play action, those linebackers are going to bite, and that usually just leaves the middle of the field open, making it easier for players like Trubisky to just make some easier completions. But yeah, he throws 267, gets you 3 tugs, puts up 25 fantasy points, so pretty solid. This week he's at the Minnesota Vikings. I think this will be a nice little competitive game here. I mean, if you can get away from Trubisky, I'm not saying he's a must start, but if you're in a pinch and there's just like nobody there, maybe you got lucky. Maybe you're like the 6th seed and you got lucky to advance and you literally have no quarterback. Maybe you take a shot on Trubisky there. It's not a terrible matchup.
Yeah, I like Mitch Trubisky there. It's nice. It's good. Very good. All right, let's go on to the next one here. We got Phillip Rivers for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, this is probably one of the last ones I would be picking up and streaming. But if you're in a pinch, I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, like we said, these aren't like must starts. We're not saying that go start these guys over your studs or your starters. But this is like, hey, if I'm in a pinch, you're streaming, and you're like, I need to weigh my options. Who's there? Goff's that got to match up Trubisky, and then Rivers. This was Dre's start last week. It doesn't have a crazy good game, but not a dud game. Gets you 18 points, so it's like okay. 244-2, but he's at home against the Houston Texans. Last time he played against the Houston Texans, he put up 19 fantasy points. Yeah, I like the Colts in this one. I think they just destroy the Houston Texans here. One thing you can do on the Texans is you can run on them, and we've seen Jonathan Taylor just emerge the last 2 weeks. So if you have Jonathan Taylor, he's going to help you win a fantasy championship, that's for sure, because he should have another monster.
Him and David Montgomery probably have some of the juiciest playoff schedules. Phillip Rivers. Pick him up. Man, that clip was informative, huh? Well, there's plenty more right here if you click that. Also, go ahead and subscribe right there.